And welcome all of you gangsters. Today we have a guest joining us by phone. She is an international model who has been on the runway. She has done fashion modeling and also commercial modeling work. She now does independent modeling to balance work, a marriage, and children. Her career has gone through many changes, from becoming engaged, moving countries, getting married, and starting family. She's here to tell us how she has balanced all of this. She can be found on Instagram at Dima Kontar and Facebook at Dima Kontar, which is spelled with 2 words, and also on Amazon Influencers, which is amazon.com/shop/Dima Kontar. Just in case you're not sure of the spelling, that is DimaKontar. Dima, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
Hey, how are you?
Actually, I'm doing good. Yeah, just to reiterate, Dima she's done fashion modeling, she's done commercial modeling, and she's also done runway modeling.
Right.
I've been talking to her for the past couple of weeks, and she just has a really interesting story about how she met her husband, the challenges that she's gone through with balancing getting engaged, then being married, then being a mother. And being a photographer myself, I'm a little bit familiar with this, but I'm not a model. I'm on the other side of the camera. So Dima is here to kind of shed a little bit of light on what it's like to be a model and be a mother with a relationship and balancing all of that.
Yeah, you're right.
I think one of the things we want to highlight about Dima's career is that there's I imagine when you go from starting out to becoming, a professional, it's difficult, especially when you have a partner involved. So tell us about how your husband, how he's been supporting you, and the road that you guys have kind of went on through that. Just as much as you want.
Yeah, definitely.
Not to cut you off, Ashley, or to cut you off, Dima, but I was just looking at my notes, and Dima, in talking before this discussion, you mentioned that you were asked to stop modeling after you and your husband got married, but you got back into it without telling him. And I think it's important because people have an image of what the modeling profession is, but modeling in different cultures is very different. And at the time you had just finished getting your degree. I think this is really the part of your story as to how you got to where you are now. So if you wouldn't mind, if we could start there, I think it would give our listeners a foundation to work with for the rest of your story that is about to come.
Right.
So if you don't mind, if we could start there, I think it would really help our listeners.
Because sometimes there are certain cultures and traditions and how the parents of your husband or whatever, your partner, they view things. Some people see modeling from a different perspective. It's different how people see modeling. What do they know about modeling? How they have the image in their mind. So this is all different. So at first, okay, you gotta stop modeling out. You have your degree. You can work in your degree. And this is something I've always focused on. I didn't want modeling to stray me away from being an educated person because we know, and I know quite well throughout my career that my modeling path, they have changed. Where we focus on certain things at the early stages of life. And then when you progress, you will do some things and not the others. You will accept some offers and not the others. So we know that sometimes it's not only depending on modeling, and this modeling stage has to be diverted towards something similar, especially when you have kids and you become so responsible in life.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Can you give us an example of that story?
So back to that story, when he told me, okay, you want to stop modeling, I said, okay, I love him so much, whatever. It's been a long love story. Sometimes some people say, aren't you bored? You've been together for so long. Yeah. Sometimes it might happen, because you're having that same person all the time. But I told you that you need to make new changes to your life, or you need to have some new innovative ideas. So when he told me, you need to stop modeling, I told him, are you sure? Why? I love it. It's my hobby. That hobby is that dream is becoming a reality. And I love seeing myself in the posters or in a video clip or in a magazine or wow, this is so, like, any woman might love that in life. I don't know if anybody would say no for it.
Right.
I don't know, but
So what was the agreement that you and your husband came to?
I told him, okay, so I'll just work with my domain. I have a degree in healthcare, by the way. See how these two domains, they don't meet at all.
Yeah.
But I was successful in both. So, and until I was still enrolled in the agency that I'm dealing with, and one day, um, the, the casting person over there, she called me and she said, Dima, I've got a news for you. What's wrong? What's going on? So you cannot refuse this offer. Like, you're going to be the first main character in a video clip with the singer. He came and he chose, like, he has seen the pictures and he picked it up, and it's going to be a quick video clip where we have to finish it in 36 hours because the singer is coming and he's traveling back. So we've got to finish everything. And just to have to make it happen. And I told her, I promised my fiance, like, I cannot do it. Like, I cannot do it. Do you know what does that mean? Like, later on, this TV clip will be on the TV and everybody will see it. And it's a big problem. It might end that relation. And
Yeah.
she told me, no, it's up to you. You have to choose what to do. But I really encourage you to do it. Like, such a chances, they don't come very easily. And when they come, they open the gate. The gates start opening, you know, if you want to approach your dreams and stuff like that. So I was really that weak person at that time of saying, yes, I will take it, instead of being strong and say, no, I will not take it. But this weakness towards modeling always attracts me. So really, I went to the video club. It was in a very far place in the mountains. So, and they took me over with their crew, and we went up, and it was a really very exhausting time. And of course, I did not use my phone. I did not answer anybody. There's no time for that.
No.
And I did it without telling him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that working on set, I mean, once you start, it's very hard. It's very hard to stop and then reset everything back up.
Right.
Of course. Like, it's also a disturbance for everybody, and you've got to be focused, and it's time to work. And this is something that some people don't know. Like, they think modeling is easy, and okay, she stands there and takes bunches of photos and they get paid this bunches of money, and it's something very silly. Just posing. If you live that life, sometimes, like, you want to drink a sip of water, you know? And maybe people who don't experience that, they never know. So it's not something easy as it looks. Well, the result is fabulous, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
So really, by the end of the day, we were leaving. So that phone was ringing, and guess who's ringing? Who's calling? It was Chelsea calling from overseas. And she said, I've been calling you all these hours with no answer. What happened? Are you okay? Are you all right? Whatever. I told her, I just finished the shooting and I'm going back home. He told me, that's shooting. What are you talking about? And I told him, sorry, I did not tell you before, but I've got to do it. I wanted to do it. Doing what? And I told him the story, and this was the disaster. Like, screaming over the phone, and I don't know what. And at that time, you can hear the voice going up the speakers, and everybody is listening. And it was catastrophic. And then by the time I reached home, he called my mom, and he told her, didn't we agree that Dima will have to stop modeling, that now we are going into a serious relation, formal relation. Like, I don't want my wife to be called a model. She has a degree. She has a very good job. Why like that? And stuff like this. And it really caused a very big fight. And we were about to break up. Because, you know, he felt that, okay, I cannot trust you. You have promised something and you did not do it.
Wow. What was the outcome of that?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened, but we were not talking for several weeks. And things really started getting big. Yeah. Until until a friend of mine, like, she interfered, and she made, like, the issue more simple. And, you know, this teaches me something, that in relations, and when there's a problem, sometimes trying to tackle that problem and solve it right away makes it worse. So the most important thing when there's this huge big problem and that other partner is heated up to the point that he's exploding, just need him to cool down. He needs to cool down. Because when he cools down, he sees things in a different way. So right now, if you and your girlfriend, for example, you are fighting over something and it's really a big issue at the meantime. So if you walk out for a little bit and take a break for a few hours, a few days, and think thoroughly about it, and then you meet again, you will see, oh, it was not that big deal. Like sometimes we exaggerate, sometimes we are so nervous to the point that we cannot see what's going on. And if we try to fix things at these times, it's worse. It will really lead to a disaster.
Now, before we continue, I just want to remind everyone that if they have questions for you, that they can find you on Instagram at Dima Kontar, which is spelled as one word, and Facebook at Dima Kontar, which is spelled as two words. And they can also find you on Amazon.com at /shop/Dima Kontar. All of these can also be found in the show notes if anybody wants to contact you. Now, back to what you were talking about when you were not speaking for 2 weeks. Speaking from a guy's point of view, we tend to think on things on like a more global scale and not so much the fine details. And
this is the guy's view. The girl's view, we focus on details and very fine details. And here what brings, I think, the confusion. Like, I see it in a different way than you see it. And making the other partner seeing the way you see it, it's very hard. It's really very hard.
Because I know that as also from a guy's point of view, when we get frustrated, we can't find the words, and then it's like everything is just kind of jumbled together, and we're not able to separate it very easily.
It's very difficult.
That can cause problems as well.
True. This is something that happens, I believe, most of the time. So, from my point of view, from my experience, that when such things happen, the first thing a couple can do is if really, really that big issue, that issue has escalated to a point that they are not really able to talk, just give it time. Leave it to settle down. Let it cool down. Mm-hmm. And then when both of you have reached a point where you are cool enough to communicate, then you can start explaining, well, I meant that thing, and you meant that thing, and think, well, this is what I really meant. This is what I wanted to do. And at that point, either your partner can understand the idea, or he will tell you, for example, no, like, I cannot continue like that. It happened one time. It might happen another time. And I was lucky that my partner was able to understand how much modeling meant for me, because he was in my life from the early stages. Like, he grew up with me, and he grew up with my modeling world, and he spotted these changes. But if any walk-in person would come at a point where you have reached a peak in your life, and you started asking for things to be stopped or things to be changed, and here it becomes more difficult. Because you need these years of the partners understanding each other. And this eases the communication. It makes things more, like, they say, more lenient, or there's more harmony between each other. I don't know, sometimes if you have a partner that you've been for a time, that you don't even need to talk. Just if you look at him or her, they will be able, okay, this is a signal. Yeah, you know. This is chemistry, like, it bonds to you. So, of course, it's not like having a very recent relation and expecting the same thing to happen.
Right. Because, when I was a photographer and just working with different models, and some of them, they were rising in popularity or they were rising in demand, depending on what industry I was working in. And as the demand went up, either it was their boyfriend or their husband at the time would try to draw them back because so much time was putting on, or they were becoming famous and they didn't know how to handle that fame, and that was causing a stress.
Of course it happens. Like, I'm sure I told you, like, the domain of modeling is the dream of so many girls, and whenever you go into the industry, and any type of girl, she starts getting, okay, we need her for this photo shoot, for this catalog, we need to do this, and her and makeup on her face is on the posters down in there. And then she herself would start to be so excited about it, and she would go to the Walk of Fame. Now, here's the biggest struggle, that a person has to be so mature to maintain this same thing with the current relation they have, because they come into confliction. She becomes so famous sometimes, and all of these people around her, all of them want her to be their girlfriend, for example. She will have all these fancy people around her, and sometimes, yes, lots of the relations, they do end because it's either stress from the other partner, or she becomes like so famous to the point like, okay, I don't care anymore. So yes, I have seen that happen all the time. In my situation, because I have left my homeland, and when I got married and transferred to another country, then I started when I built that road from scratch. And for me, like, because my feelings towards my partner were very strong to the point that we used to fight. Yes, we fight on lots of things. Sometimes you might get jealous from the way you dress or how sexy you look. Or, okay, people will start looking at you.
Yeah.
Look, you're showing your legs, you're showing your back, you're showing whatever. Like, I don't want my wife to be just a statue that people will come and look at her. This is so embarrassing for me. Like, okay, stop it. And sometimes you find yourself appearing in all of those. What can I do? Like, what can I do for you? There's nothing I can do. So you try to please them. This is the job. And whatever job you do, it starts like reflecting on your daily life. That if you want to go out for a dinner, you want to be dressed up and you feel elegant and sexy and whatever, and people will start looking at you, and he's sitting with you on the table, and now you are the talk of the town. That's the issue. Can't you be like any other normal person walking around?
Right.
So sometimes it's that energy all around you gets censored and evolving. That really, you find yourself, you're the only person that people are looking at, and I don't know why. So just because when you go into these photo shoots and really you get everything fabulous on you, from the clothing, from the hair, from the makeup, and then you start doing the same style in your daily life, and you want to be elegant all the time. Some partners, they just
they can't handle it.
No, of course. And this is the nature of a human being. I believe this is normal.
Yeah, and that's I think a while back, myself and Ashley, we were talking about leagues, and it was this situation that you're describing is how I described when people talk about, well, she's out of your league or he's out of your league. In general, I don't believe in leagues.
I don't think leagues exist. There's no such thing.
Yeah, but unless somebody is like in your industry, being a model or an actress or in the entertainment industry or public figure, that if they cannot handle that lifestyle with the demands that are put on you, modeling, for instance, where people think, oh, well, you go in, you spend a couple hours hair and makeup, and then it's like an hour or so or 15 minutes in front of the camera doing some poses, then you're done. No, it can be like 15, 16, 17-hour days in front of the camera and going through costume changes, hair changes, makeup changes. It's not easy. And the entire time, the model is under these hot lights, putting on a smile, and she's just like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
we're not
really
stopping.
Something simple. Yeah, exactly. No, you'll go to the bathroom when you can. What about when it comes to having kids, being able to balance, once you give birth, your new mom and all of those things? Did you have to go on like a regimented, structured workout?
Yeah, I would tell you that initially I'm gifted that skinny type of person, not extremely skinny, but I think that I have the genes that help me maintain that fit. So the first baby, after the first baby, I would say that I concentrate so much on sports, and I did some sort of diminishing eating stuff I love, which puts on these extra calories. But I do like regular sport in such a way that I feel I cannot do it anymore. Okay, I'm done. I have to consume these 500 calories per workout every day, and
Yeah.
you start seeing the result that okay, this pant fits back. When this pant fits back, then it means I'm back into shape. This is always used to be my motto in life, that I have to make sure that the pants I used to wear before pregnancy fit in a very good way, and then I don't have to squeeze myself and try to lie back and pull up that zipper that I cannot breathe. No, it has to
Yeah.
fit in a good way. Then I know I'm on the right track. But the first baby, I have put on some weight, but losing it was much easier than the second one, and I don't know why. So I still have like 6 pounds left from the second pregnancy, and I'm not able to lose them till now. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm focusing so much on doing exercises because my life changed when I had the first baby. I was so into the modeling world. I used really to model so much. I used to have assistants in dealing with my first kid, for example. I used to have some sort of help, and I focused so much on this career to the point that it was deadly. Like also the Instagram post at that time, and I was working as a freelancer. So whatever demands I take it to my social media, and either if I like the job, I will do it. If I don't like it, I don't do it. And sometimes I used to do like 2 photo shoots at the same day. Sometimes it's 3. It's going from one customer to the other because I'm the freelancer. I would say, okay, I have 2 hours there, 3 hours there. Depends on the type of job they are doing. If it's quick, if it's not quick, it's a full day. So this really didn't give me enough time to eat. So I was losing weight, and I was extremely fit because I could barely eat. And really, these were the golden days where I started having requests from different people, and sometimes not only from the country I'm living in. I used to live in a Gulf country, but from all of the neighbor Gulf countries. So sometimes I used to travel to several countries. You started to feel that, oh my God, this is now my career life. I stopped working at the healthcare at that time and focused on this because I thought I'm fulfilling my dreams, and I was so happy with it. And of course, the social media helped me spread. And then I moved to the United States for good. And at that time, I had my baby, and getting into it after the second baby was not that easy. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm in a good shape, but I still did not go into the same shape I used to have after my first. So it all depends as well on what you eat, how do you exercise, what is your lifestyle at the meantime. All of these parameters, they do affect the appearance of the person.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think one of the cool things about it is that you're able to maintain and juggle all these things. Do you ever have like what's your thing that you do, to keep Dima being Dima? Like, what's your me time?
I always try to have this me time, but in the last couple of years, I was not able to have it. It was extremely strenuous. Sometimes you feel, okay, you are overloaded with the things around, but usually after the kids go to bed, I love to have this glass of wine next to me. Okay, flipping through my phone or the TV channels or whatever. Having these 45 minutes to 1 hour, they are gracious. Like they are everything I work towards. I spend the whole day rolling around, but I wait for this hour. It's like my time. So I don't want to hear a noise. I don't because I'm in bed. Okay, and now even though during that time it's some sort of social media working, because social media at the end takes so much time. You need to go and flip over and see the different things that you have to do and to keep, because right now, like I'm not more into modeling than into the influencing era. Like I'm an influencer right now due to the fact that I have two kids and you have to take care of them so much, and time is getting limited. So this is what what I work more nowadays, and trying to keep the balance of life.
Yeah, because I mean, I can imagine trying to balance your career, the kids, and your husband all at the same time.
That's like 3 kids.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, the husband can turn into a third kid.
You are my third child. No kidding, because men, they are sometimes children, or maybe most of the time, that men sometimes they say, "Where's my time?" Okay, are you giving me time, or what? It's only just about your work, with your children, and I would say that this rises conflict between us. Sometimes we have fights on things that you think they are the ABCD of life. Okay, I'm working, I'm not having fun. This is all work. But the man needs his own time. He needs somebody to take care of him. And if these things don't happen, you see the fights, they rise up. Some people, they get, for example, for an alternative, look for the happiness somewhere else. The relation between the man and the woman is very close, but at the same time, it's a very sensitive relation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about always pulling the cord. You have to loosen it up, and then sometimes you have to pull it again. But
of course,
it's very important from a female point of view. When your partner becomes your husband, when you have kids, when you have responsibilities, your relationship with him changes. The way you both used to see things is not the same anymore. Love gets distributed. It's not only passion now. That passion relationship that we used to have before marriage, the first years of marriage, before kids, is way different now. And when these kids come into life, then something changes. I don't know what changes exactly, but it's something there in the atmosphere that automatically things get oriented around, and we don't know what to do. I cannot focus anymore. I need to give some time for the kid. The kid is sick, he's crying. I need to put him in the daycare. This one needs to go to school. I don't know. I have my job. My boss is not listening. My boss is putting so much stress on me. I have to do my other job. I have to be also successful on my other domain. All of these things.
Oh my goodness.
You look at it, okay, am I having time for love anymore? Is it a love relationship?
And
that's expect ours. Yeah.
And well, that's the point that I try to make to a lot of people when they're talking about, oh, well, pretty girls have it so easy, models have it so easy, and I'm like, dude, no, they don't. I mean, it's not all rainbows and chocolates. I mean, it's hard. It's work. And I mean, so thank you for saying that, because I mean, it kind of gets the point home that it's not, I mean, it's a much harder career than people imagine. And this is where we will end this part of the conversation with Dima. If you would like to see some of Dima's past and current work, you can visit her Instagram account at Dima Kontar, which is spelled as one word, Dimakontar. She also has a Facebook page at Dima Kontar, which is spelled with 2 words. You can also visit her Amazon influencer page, where she reviews and gives honest opinions on products that she has personally tried and endorses. That is at amazon.com/shop/Dima Kontar. In the next episode, Dima shares what life is like as a model and some of the challenges it has presented to her marriage. Be sure to subscribe to be alerted when that episode becomes available. You can also go to the girlsaskguyshow.com site and find all of Dima's links and listen to other episodes. You can also send in your questions and request to be on the show, just like Dima. Now go out there and be the star you were meant to be. Live life on your terms. And join us for Dima's next episode, where we all learn to master this thing called life together. We thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.